Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast all about the hit HBO series The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the Force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today we cover episode 3 of season 2, Hot Shots. And we start, as always, by popping a recap. Bunk and Freeman chase their crime scene, a container ship, to Philly, where none of the crew finds it useful to speak English. Lieutenant Cedric Daniels, disgusted with his exile to the Evidence Control Unit, lets it be known he's going to leave the department. On orders from Barksdale, Bell finds a way to set up the correctional officer Tillman, who's been harassing Weebay. McNulty pursues the identity of the Jane Doe found floating in the harbor. A pair of young longshoremen, Frank Sabatka's son Ziggy and his nephew Nick, heist a container of digital cameras and sell them to men working for the Greek. After an ominous visit from his uncle, Avon Barksdale, D'Angelo agrees to stop getting high in prison, a wise move in more ways than one. The episode was written by David Simon, directed by Elodie King. Elodie, I think, is her name. I just thought it was kind of cool that they had a woman director, and it premiered on June 15th, 2003.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and I mean, I get the feeling that they are trying to sell this to anybody that's never actually seen The Wire. Like, hey, download this episode. Which I just thought was kind of funny.
It's very thorough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. Any initial questions before we get into the epigraph?
Just, has Landsman always been so eloquent?
Yeah, I think so.
Well spoken.
I mean, he definitely
we'll talk about it later. But
yeah, goes back and forth. I think he, goes from incredibly vulgar to eloquent. I think I'm trying to remember how he had that whole explanation of McNulty being an addict.
Yes,
so he definitely
that's true.
has that way
He's
of
insightful.
communication style. So
Okay.
yeah. Yep. But other than that, I don't know. It's mostly vulgar. So maybe there's a particular skill involved in that. So all right, well, let's get to the epigraph.
Yeah, they need a union. It's from Beatty.
Yeah. And before we get too far into this, I thought about what they need as a union throughout the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, whereas in season 1, the epigraph really kind of played itself out, but I'm not sure. I really didn't feel like what they need as a union was really a common thread.
No.
On the other hand, Hot Shots, I thought, was quite common. Like, I was like, oh, here, they're showing it here and they're showing it there. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yes.
So anyway, not that it really makes too much of a difference, but anyway. Okay, well, let's get, I was going to say we should get started. But the question is, we do our previous predictions, but before we do that, any initial thoughts before we get to your predictions?
Well, I mean, this is an episode with a lot of storylines going on. Things are still not woven together, but I think we're starting to get these threads of how they will be woven together. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's complex. There's a lot of moving pieces at this point. Yeah. In this season. Yep.
Yeah, but a lot like last time, season 1, it's like now things are really starting to pick up.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right, well, let's get into your previous predictions.
Okay.
So you had predicted that the Jane Does, they will start finding out the identities. Didn't quite do that, but McNulty is now on the case of one of them in particular. Yeah. So I feel like we gave you partial credit for that. So you're getting that.
All right.
And now that Freeman and Bunk are on the case, you also said that maybe that guy will reveal something, which, of course, that played out exactly as you said. So that the first mate, and we were talking about this before the show, is nameless. We don't know his name, and I don't even know the actor's name. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't really exist.
First mate.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sabatka and Valchek will continue to ramp up, so that continues to go. Yep. So you're right on the money there. CID will be spying on the dock workers. Prez wanted to spy on the dock workers, but his lieutenant could not care less.
They didn't get very far.
Yeah. And then finally, Tillman will have something bad happen to him. So that's an interesting question. Yeah. So you're well. There is some retribution to be planned, so you got credit for that. Although the bad thing did not happen to him directly.
No, not exactly how I thought it would.
All right. Well, that's all I've got for the preamble. So if you're ready, let's get into it.
All right. I'm going to break this down with 6 major storylines here.
Okay.
Number 1, Omar is back. Number 2, what I call BBF. Bunk, Beatty, Freeman,
Okay.
plus McNulty forever.
Uh-huh.
I like that combination. Nick and Zig make bad choices. I've got number 4, Valchek's Vendetta. I've got Poor Sweet Frank. And then Tillman's Troubles is where I will wrap things up, if that sounds okay.
Poor Sweet Frank. Okay.
Poor Sweet Frank.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, well, let's start with Omar because that's how this particular episode opens up. He's back. He's got a new boyfriend, Dante. Dante's very cute. Anyway, the two of them are spying on a house, and Omar's explaining that, the money's going to come out in a laundry basket and that they're going to take it that night. Anyhow, out the laundry basket comes. They're watching it, and before it can go anywhere, 2 women who were out there flirting with some guys pull out guns. They steal the money, and they take off. So I was not expecting that, and neither were they. They were pretty surprised by it too, and Omar, it seems, a little impressed by them.
Yep.
So later we catch up with these 2 women. I don't know that we know their names in this episode.
No, I'll tell you what their names, but it's Kimmy and Tasha.
Kimmy and Tasha. Love it. Okay, so the women who stole the laundry basket, they are counting their money, and then in comes Dante with a gun to take that money from them, and he tells them to spread the word that Omar is back.
Yep.
And they don't believe him. They, talk about rumors they've heard that Omar's in the wind, but then Omar himself comes out. So the word's going to be out now.
Yep.
Omar's back in town.
Yeah.
Wherever he went to, he's back.
Omar back.
Omar back.
Yeah, what a great line.
Yes, so good. Anyway, so later on, Kimmy and Tasha go up and talk to a guy on a stoop. Omar and Dante are watching from a distance, and you get the feeling that they are kind of in on something together. Kimmy and Tasha come back to Omar and Dante and tell Omar and Dante that the man inside, I think Stump?
Yep.
Yes. He's just sitting in the front room watching TV.
Right.
He's right there. All right. That night, Omar and Dante are in a bedroom together. They are being cute, but Dante is being kind of pissy because he thinks that Omar he's paying too much attention to Kimmy and Tasha, or he likes them or something like that. He's jealous, clearly.
Yep.
And Omar, tries to reassure him, says, "I don't bed no babies."
Yeah.
And, kisses him passionately, and they have a cute moment together. So.
Yep. All right. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna stop here. I don't know, for whatever reason, I was intrigued by the cartoon that Stump was watching.
Yes, yeah.
Did you recognize it?
I didn't recognize it. I saw there's like a robot and some shooting.
Yep. Well, the Wire subreddit came through, and it is called The Mechanical Monsters.
Okay.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting. It's just one of those things where I thought I had seen every Saturday morning cartoon there ever was, but nope.
That one I did not know.
Yeah, so, and so this really just adds an interesting dimension to Omar in that, instead of just robbing the robbers, he now partners with them.
He's recruited them,
It seems like, he's normally all on his own, but, when it's united against a common enemy kind of thing, I guess it makes sense. So,
yes. But
here's something that I wasn't quite sure about. Is it like, I don't know how to say this. I guess, like, does it feel kind of weird that Dante is questioning Omar's sexuality?
Yeah, it was a little weird to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I don't know if it's just like not necessarily that he liked them sexually, or just even any attention drawn away from him was, enough to make him be upset with him.
Yeah, I mean, right. So for sure, it was jealousy, as you said.
Yeah.
Not necessarily romantically, but it did. Yeah. It struck me as weird that Omar would have to kind of prove that he's gay. Exactly. So I didn't quite understand it. Maybe that's a little bit more common than I would have thought.
I don't know.
But anyway. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like whereas in like a heterosexual relationship, it would feel very foreign to be like,
Right.
you know, are you, you have sexual feelings for that person. Anyway. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. So
Yes.
yeah, so this is kind of, it's a little bit of like, it's a great reintroduction to Omar.
Yeah.
I love that they bring him back, and now that after in episode 3, you were worried that we weren't going to see him.
Where's Omar?
And so now we get to see him, but it does feel a little bit like a side, just a side quest for right now.
Yes.
So.
Right now it's not connected. And we see then, I'm not sure which ones came in, which one's Tasha, but one of them comes and she brings this cute little girl a soda, dries the little girl's tears.
That's Tasha. Tasha was
that
the one
one's
who was,
Tasha. Okay. They walk up that stoop and, we see Stump inside. He's watching more of, what did you call it? The mechanical monsters. And she says through the door something like, I don't know if it's like, his boys have been mean to her or the boys have been mean to your daughter. I couldn't determine what was the relationship there.
Yeah. It's not clear at all.
It's not clear. But he does, he takes the wood bracing off the door. He opens it up and they all bring out their guns and go right inside. And that's where that ends.
Yeah. So there was one other component that I didn't quite follow either. So, you saw the first heist where they bring the money out twice a day.
Yes.
Why doesn't Stump have to take the money out as well in some form? I didn't quite understand that. So I don't know that you need to know that very much, but it just kind of, obviously they're setting up a different problem and they need a different scheme to get in.
Right.
And that's why they have to include Tasha and Kimmy in the scheme, in the caper, because that's the only way they get in the door.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway.
Yes.
But otherwise, like we're kind of just speculating about like what the difference is between the first, the first location and the second. So,
right.
Yeah. So, okay. I don't have anything else.
Okay, well, that's all there is for that particular storyline. So maybe we will move on to BBF plus McNulty forever, as I like to call it, because I like this gathering. Okay, so we've got Bunk and Freeman interviewing crew members of the Atlantic Light. None of these guys speak English, or at least not willing to speak English with them. Bunk and Free are pretty rude and insensitive about it, I have to say. Really did not like that scene whatsoever.
Yep.
Gishy Gishy Gummy or whatever was just not fun to watch.
Kente. Yabba dabba dabba do. Huh? You know someone?
Ha, mishy gishy gushy gushy mishy meshy mushy motherfucker.
Huh?
Eh?
Negro.
Negro, you cannot travel halfway around the world and not speak any motherfucking English.
Mimi sizungumzi Kiingereza mimi sijui.
English, motherfucker!
The first mate, who shall remain unnamed, shows them the bunks of the two guys that went missing in, I think, Philly and Norfolk. Is that where they said? Yeah.
Yep.
He says that they were asking for advances on their pay and tells them that, it doesn't matter that the guys don't speak English. They're not going to talk to you anyway. Right. What happens below decks stays below decks.
Yep.
So that's not going to be very helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving on, McNulty. Okay. Go
sorry, I was just, but you caught like how Freeman and Bunk and Beatty, like how they figured out kind of what was going on. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We see now that they are getting caught up to what we learned from the murder of the guy.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll just point out here that one thing that I really loved about this episode was how they layered the coming together of the different, like of the telling of the story,
right?
And how McNulty's going one way, and then Bunk and Freeman are going, and Beatty are going the other way.
Yes,
I really like that they purposely left parts out so that the two pieces could fit together pretty perfectly. So
yes,
yep.
So back at homicide. Oh, wait, no, I went too far. Let me see here. Oh, McNulty is now down in evidence and he sees Daniels there. They are both kind of laughing about their new positions. He is returning the evidence from the Gant case and says it's not enough. We're going to need Omar. McNulty sort of says to him as Daniels is complaining about his position, keep your head low and basically you'll be back to where you were. And this is when Daniels tells him that he's going to leave and practice law. So it is nice to see those two together again in a scene, though.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of had this, what's the word, like, we kind of fucked ourselves.
Yeah.
Commiseration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I thought it actually was big of McNulty to say, sorry, Lieutenant, like, he just realized he fucked Daniels too, but, Daniels didn't really hold any ill will. So that's
Right.
nice, a little resolution.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. I was wondering too, though, back in episode 1 of the season, they were looking for this evidence. Did McNulty have it the whole time?
See, I know. I was really confused about that when they were like pulling all the things down. And what happened to that? Did they find it and then McNulty got it, or did he just have it the entire time?
Right. I mean, and where would that have been? There's no way McNulty had that at his house or whatever. I can't believe that would have been true. But yeah, it did kind of seem interesting to me. Like why is McNulty bringing this case or bringing the evidence in? So anyway, so if you the user, the listener, know why McNulty would have evidence in his possession, please let us know.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Wired and rewired at gmail.com.
Okay, back at Homicide, Landsman is laughing about an error in the word prostrate.
Yep.
Because it was spelled prostate.
Yep.
Ha ha. It's so funny. God, he's just going on and on about it. He is eating this gigantic messy sandwich the entire time in perfect Landsman style. Bunk and Freeman report back that the interviews yielded nothing, and now the Atlantic light is gone. Right? They had no more reason to keep it in place. So basically, Landsman's like, you better figure this out. You better figure out what the heck you're going to do. And then he suggests to Beatty that she, that they were plainclothes there, and recommends that she wear a neutral colored pantsuit when she works with them. And in the meantime, insults the outfits of Bunk and Freeman. Tweedy impertinence.
Officer
Russell.
I am informed that you are detailed to this case as a liaison with the Port Police. I also understand that you are the only help that your department is sending.
That's so?
Although there is some small charm to a woman in uniform, the fact remains we work plainclothes in homicide. Which is not to say that the clothes need be plain. For you, I would suggest some pantsuits, perhaps muted in color. Something to offset Detective Moreland's pinstripe lawyerly affectations and the brash, tweedy impertinence of Detective Freeman. Rawls is watching on this one. Let's at least pretend we got a fucking clue.
Tweedy impertinence. I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Lawyer. Wait.
What is a lawyerly pinstripe?
Lawyerly affectation.
Yeah, lawyerly affectation. Yeah. That's one where I was like, do those words really come out of Landsman's mouth? Like, is that a character fit for you? Because it just kind of wasn't for me. I mean, it's not, the delivery was excellent, but I just didn't see it coming out of Sergeant Landsman for what we've built up with this character thus far.
Well, I won't give anything. I'm not giving anything away when I tell you this. He has some moments later in the series when his eloquence is on full display. Yeah. So I'd appreciate that.
It's a fabulous wit. I just hadn't really seen it up to this point. I mean, to that level.
Right. And so, but of course, like, to contrast this with, like, let's pretend like we have a fucking clue. Right?
Yeah. Let's pretend like we have while his sandwich is dripping all over his fingers. Amazing.
There's such a skill to, like, he's got this roast beef sandwich or whatever, and he's like picking pieces out, and oh my god, it's just incredible.
It is.
It's an incredible bit of
perfect.
acting. It's so gross. So, like, in that bit of their Tweedy impertinence when Freeman says Tweedy impertinence, and Bunk's response, and then Beatty laughing. God, it's one of my. It is literally one of my favorite lines in the entire series. So it's just great stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, McNulty is taking the kids back to Mom's house, or at least the house probably he used to live in with his family. Mm-hmm. He does ask if he can tuck them in. And remind me what her name is again. His wife, his ex-wife, Elena. She closes the door to talk to him outside and tells him that her lawyer is sending him a separation agreement. And really, it just does not look like they're getting back together.
Right.
She shuts the door. You see his face through the little window in the door, and he just looks like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm just living in this fucked up world. And we know he would like to get back together with her after his interaction with Rhonda.
Yep.
But that doesn't seem to be happening.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I'm trying to figure out what the relationship means to McNulty.
Yeah.
Does it matter to him, or does he just doesn't want to lose that part of his life? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter that it's Elena. It just matters
exactly.
that it's so that part I don't know. But of course, like what I feel like it's just important, obviously for everybody, for the story, is just to understand that like he's losing all this stuff. Like he's no longer connected to homicide in a real way. And we'll talk about the scene when he comes back to homicide to talk to Bunk and Freeman. And then of course there's this other component to his life of his marriage and his family, and he's losing that as well. So so here's a question for you, because we talked about this in season 1 episode 4. When Elena was saying, like, my lawyer says,
right,
and she wasn't engaging. It was about, she was kind of using the lawyer as a window dressing for her particular perspective. This time it felt, I wasn't quite sure, I wasn't willing to kind of let her off the hook this time of saying, okay, you're sending this, well, what, and he's asking what it is, and she won't even tell him.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why.
Well, see, I was feeling like maybe he has been able, when he has a chance to talk to her about it, that he has the ability to convince her that everything's fine. I'm not like that anymore. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Like that. And so that's why she is shutting off the communication as much as possible so that she doesn't have to hear it and potentially fall for it again in her mind.
I think that's probably right. And it's funny because I'm just replaying that first interaction with Rhonda and McNulty, and how him like saying, no, I'm not here for that. Yeah. And yet they still end up having sex. And so for her, she's just like, no, I've gotta put the walls up the whole time, because otherwise he's gonna,
he's gonna wheedle his way in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't resist that sweet behind of his, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, Ellie? Yeah, okay. Okay. So but obviously for him, like, he just now is really seeing things fall apart around him.
Right. So, Yeah. Okay, well, Bunk and Beatty are now going to the location from where the shipping container was supposed to be delivered, the one with the women in it. They go there, they find out it is a fake address, and, Beatty points out it probably where it came from is not a real location either. Right. We move on to McNulty. He is looking at the photo of the floater Jane Doe, and he has a, like a reflective look on his face. And then McNulty is next in Dr. Fraser's lab, and he's trying to figure out what connects the floater Jane Doe to the others. And Dr. Fraser tells him that 3 of the dead girls were in Budapest within the last 3 years, which they were able to find out because of their breast implants. However, the records of the clinic that they came from aren't good enough to actually ID the girls. Many of the girls had secretions that indicated vaginal, oral, and anal sex. And while all of this is going on, though, Dr. Fraser's like examining a dead guy and talking to Jimmy like it's nothing. Yep. He also informs Jimmy that the case now belongs to Bunk and Freeman. And you can see kind of the look on Jimmy's face is one of like disappointment, resignation, guilt, all of that.
Yeah. And so just a note here that in the last episode, there was a reference to Magyar. And somebody says, where's Magyar? And Beatty says, what do I look like? Rand McNally?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I like that line. Magyar is in Hungary, as is Budapest. So there you go. So there's a little connection there. So
okay.
Now that just confirms what we'd already sort of suspected. So just an interesting thing. And of course, like now, what I just wrote down was like, this is McNulty being a murder police, right? We talked about that last season was, he is a murder police. That is his identity. And of course, like he gets a case gets under his skin and he thinks he's offloading it when in fact it's just him working through it himself. So, and again, I just really liked McNulty working it from one angle. Right. And of course, then it all comes together in a little bit. So
yes, and I do like his interaction with the Fraser. Just like, Fraser's like, fuck you. I got you
Yeah,
this information.
I know, right?
Like, are you still complaining?
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, fuck you, Jimmy McNulty. Yeah, such a great line.
It is. Okay, well, let's see here. McNulty then goes to homicide. He tries to make amends and to valiantly help solve the case, offering his efforts. He shares his theory, and, Bunk, Freeman, and Beatty, they kind of let him go on his diatribe and then, say, oh, well, then you probably thought this and this and this.
Whoa, you happy now, bitch? Come on, how was I gonna know Landsman would pull Cole and stick you guys? You right here with him, huh?
What'd he call Cole?
Collateral damage.
I'm feeling pretty damn collateral myself, I gotta say.
Which is why I went to see Doc Frazier yesterday and worked some things out in my head. Officer McNulty could have paid this thing no mind, but no. When his friends are suffering, he bleeds too. Do you see the preliminary? Positives for oral, vaginal, anal. No IDs, no passports, no visas, no real money, and they're coming across the water like that.
Yeah. McNulty has a theory.
Does he now?
You deductive motherfucker, you.
So he's gonna wander in here with some Johnny-come-lately bullshit about how these girls all coming over here as prostitutes. Talking about how if they ain't got the cash to travel better than a container ship, then they sure as shit don't have the money to pay a plastic surgeon.
Then he's gonna go past that and say something about that one in the water being tossed off the ship after she's already dead from a beatdown.
But why she got beat? He's gonna ask us that like we don't know.
He's gonna answer his own question, saying the swabs are negative, right? Fuck or fight with all them sailor boys. And she fought.
So, got a little rough. She gets banged around. She comes up dead, and then somebody panics, tosses her in the harbor overnight before the ship ties up.
But the other girl saw.
So now the other girls, they get told to get back in that can. And our man, to cover this shit up, he gets up on top, bangs down the air pipe. Anything else you want to tell us?
So we find out that Bunk and Free and Beatty have already come up with this very solid theory. And McNulty points out what will happen to these women if they don't get identified. They will end up being buried in a mass grave. And the scene really interestingly ends with Beatty, turning and asking Jimmy if that bothers him. And he says, yeah, a little. And she says, me too. So it was an interesting exchange there at the end.
Yeah. I think that the connection between the two, I mean, it's interesting too to think about, does it bother Bunk and Freeman?
Yeah.
They don't really talk about it, but I mean, Bunk, when Beatty says me too, they show Bunk like turning and looking at the two of them. So it's, I just wonder for McNulty, I guess we talk about it later, how Bunk calls him out and says, this is like that Catholic bullshit that you're dealing with. So, so it's just kind of curious that the two of them are connected. Like, I looked at it as Beatty, I think, I'm projecting here, but I get the sense that because it's women were the victim. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, and so that's her connection to it, whereas McNulty, there's something else. So, not much more to it, but that scene is so good.
Yeah.
Of just... McNulty has a theory.
I know.
Does he now? Oh, you deductive motherfucker. Yeah, it's good stuff. So, yeah, and it's such a great thing. But I think that what I wrote down, too, is that McNulty's walking in like a hotshot.
Exactly,
I got this all
guys.
figured out.
Yes.
And then he has to watch as these guys have already figured it out, and he just looks completely kind of deflated that they took all the air out of the room. So, yeah, just kind of, but it's such a fun scene. And as you said, like, put them together, and it's just such a good ensemble cast.
It is.
So.
It's fabulous. I love it. Beatty, Bunk, and Freeman are next in the DOJ office. They are sharing their theory, which we've heard. They find out that, as suspected, the origin of the shipping containers is not an address that exists, nor does the driver on the manifest. These guys, then the DOJ guys, share with them, how many of these women are brought over to the U.S., how much money they would have made, and that this means that someone on the ship really messed up. And this is also the scene where Beatty shares the epigraph.
Yep. Yeah, I guess not really much more to it, but yeah, what it does further illustrate, of course, is that Bunk makes this statement about how you need a whole new agency just to police them.
Just to police
them. So
them.
just kind of amazing. I mean,
the
unfortunately, the desire for sex is not going to go away anytime soon. So if there's demand, and if somebody can figure out the supply angle.
Yeah.
Which sounds really crass, and which of course it is when I say it that way. But people are going to take advantage, so that just feels it's pretty awful.
It is.
And although the interesting thing about that line about what they need as a union is that they're now.
Yeah.
There is a lot of talk about by making it more legal and acceptable, there are all these other protections that get included. So, once again, the Wire a little bit prescient in that discussion. So.
Yeah. Beatty, Bunk, and McNulty are at the bar. They're drinking. We find out here that Beatty has 2 kids.
Yep.
And, McNulty's kind of surprised by that and interested. McNulty says he's going to find out the name of the Jane Doe, and this is where you were talking about the Catholic guilt thing, and McNulty says, "What the fuck I got to feel guilty about?"
Right.
Oh.
And then of course you have mumbling Bunk, which, as we've said many times, is the best Bunk.
It's the best Bunk. Yeah. And then Jimmy later is going through his mail, and the separation papers have come, and he looks very disappointed and upset about that.
Yep.
And that's it for BBF plus McNulty forever.
Oh, I'm going to love that. What, BBF
plus
M? BBF plus M.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And then wait, do you want the number 4?
With the number 4
okay.
and
Eva.
then EVA. Eva.
Okay. Very good. Then.
Okay.
I'm on it. I'm updating my nomenclature.
All right. Okay. Our next thread is Nick and Ziggy make bad choices. So we start out, there's a young woman cutting Nick's hair, and we come to find out that it's his baby mama, and they have a little girl named Ashley in the background. They don't live together, and with his current work situation, it's not happening anytime soon. She tells him, you want to keep on like this, I gotta rethink stuff. And he's basically like a mean asshole to her the entire time.
Yep.
Why is he such an asshole? He's such an asshole.
No, 100% he is.
He's like, if that's what you want to do, then fine. But I'm going to get some more shifts, and then you'll be, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just like he is misplacing his anger about his situation on her. But God, it is so frustrating to watch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's... as she's talking about this, he just feels powerless.
He feels powerless.
And so you back somebody into a corner, they're just going to lash out at whatever direction is. Yeah. And but of course, this is the instigating event for the rest of his actions in this episode, of course.
That's
right. So, yeah. So, and I think that what's interesting about that, of course, is, if he didn't care, then he probably would just continue on the way that he was going, weirdly, right?
Yes.
But because it seems like he does care, that he is, I've got to do something. I mean, that was that whole conversation. We'll talk about that when he talks about
it's just he's such a likable character up to this point because, you can tell he is a hard worker, and he is the one that Frank can count on, and he is... insistent on not getting involved in selling drugs. So, it kind of, when you see this unlikable aspect of it, you're like, oh, what the hell?
Well, one of the things that The Wire does really well is that
they make it so that you can't actually like anybody. Everybody's
Sidnor's
flawed.
still cool.
Okay, Sidnor's okay, all right. I still got no beef with Sidnor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, and Kima, you got
no,
Kima.
she helped to beat down the kid.
That's right. Yeah, he did. She did beat the hell out of Bodhi.
Yeah,
and you're right about that. Okay, all right. Well, I was trying to throw you a rope, but nope. She did not want the rope.
Sidnor.
But the thing is that what they do more than anything else is they show that characters are not a single facet, right? Oh, this guy's good and this guy's bad. They're all unfortunately they're all nuanced, which of course is how human people generally are.
Yeah.
So, and so you have Nikki who, like, even, you took it last episode where he's trying to be this peacemaker and he's trying to say, Frank, that wasn't on purpose, and, calm, try to stay calm and he's trying to and then here he is with, somebody who is part of his family.
Yeah.
And he is just treating her like complete shit.
Exactly.
So it really just, and it's just like that line at the end when she's like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that was pretty.
The purple streak.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why Amy said that.
Yeah, why was she
do you know this guy at all? But at the same time, like, his response was just like,
I know.
awful.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. So.
All right. Well,
so there you go.
Nick and Zig are walking along after, I guess, not having gotten any work that day.
Right.
Nick's complaining about his work situation, not having any money, about baby mama wanting to get what is her name? Amy? Is that what she said? Wanting to get married. And Zig tries to convince him again to get in on selling drugs. And Nick says, categorical no. He's just not going to do that. And, Zig says, what are you going to do? And he says, I'll think of something.
Yep.
Then Johnny, the doc. Wait, is that the guy that is dispatching? Is his name Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny.
Okay, it is Johnny. Okay. So I wasn't sure if they were just like Johnny on the spot or really he was Johnny. Okay. So Johnny is in the office. He's dispatching trucks. Zig comes in and says, pick me a winner. And then Johnny hands him a little piece of paper from under his keyboard. We see Nick's driving a truck. And then Johnny tells him where to go for a particular shipping container. Zig, in the meanwhile, goes and tells Horseface that there's a missed delivery and where they need to take this container. And so then Nikki loads it up and drives it out.
Yep.
So, I mean, I wasn't clear on everything that was going on there, but it's clear that, like, they are taking, some goods in a container that don't belong to them.
Right.
And they've got a plan with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, so the question that is unanswered, you have to know how it works. I don't, but how did Johnny know which container
exactly.
to pick?
Yes.
I don't know, but they must have known, I'm guessing that there was probably, like, they knew that there was a shipment of electronics.
Okay.
And that probably this is, this kind of stuff goes missing with some regularity.
Right.
And there you go. And so that's probably how they picked it out.
Yeah.
So high value product, get a container, and that, that is likely to be lost or that has a higher percentage of being lost than something else. And then they go with it that way.
Yeah.
I sorry, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump in
it.
with a couple things. So the first thing that really, like, stood out to me, and we didn't talk about this back in season 1, episode 1, but Rawls refers to Avon Barksdale as a project N-word and uses the hard R, which, I mean, just like, that was like, we just kind of, we didn't even mention it at the time, which I thought was, I felt like we should have. But then Nikki talks about it and uses that same term. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is.
It's hard to hear.
Yeah. And so, there was an interesting comment from James Ransone in All the Pieces Matter where he talks about how, I want to be careful about this because there's no question that what what Nick said was racist.
Yes.
Just the most racist comment you can make. But what James Ransone was saying was that it's easy to separate people by skin color and be racist in that way when in fact you'll see people that are like of the same, essentially the same economic strata. And so that, so by separating himself, Nikki, with this comment from somebody who's seeing this or experiencing the same difficulty in trying to just get stability, it seems like, oh, well, I'm not like that person. When in fact you just resort to crime. It's just a different crime.
Exactly.
So it just, I feel like there's a psychological dance that Nick is doing. It's like, well, as soon as you start committing crime, I mean, that is like grand theft. That is not like just slight,
Yeah.
So that's kind of, anyway. So there was that. But I want to just mention one more thing. So, and I can't believe I didn't think about this, but, Nick is the nephew of Frank, just as D'Angelo is the nephew of Avon. And they both,
interesting.
And they both are experiencing essentially a new world in which the previous generation performed this job.
Yeah.
But now the new world is very different. So they've been taught to believe that here's your path ahead.
Yep.
And so I just want to comment like something from Alan Sepinwall where he said that you may not. This is actually via David Simon. You may not be highly educated or even highly skilled, but if you are willing to work and work hard, America will find a place for you. So that was kind of that was a sales pitch from the American Dream, when in fact that promise, the American Dream, like doesn't really exist anymore because Nick obviously wants to work. He's like, he doesn't want a day off. He wants to work.
Yeah.
Whereas Ziggy's like, oh, cool, day off. At least you don't have to work today. And but he's not being given opportunity, even though he's doing all the right things. And so there was one other interesting comment or connection I was making. So Nick is driving a semi-truck.
I know.
Like,
why couldn't he do that for a living?
Yes, exactly. Like, you have skills.
You must have a commercial truck driver's license if you're doing this.
Well.
Okay, maybe not, but...
The fact that you have that skill.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how many people can just sit in a semi and just drive it.
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. Like,
I know, I had that same
They seem to have
thought.
these skills, which is like, okay, well, go do something else
yeah.
if you can. But then again, like, that's what D'Angelo said to Chardine, right? It's like, go do something else. And she's like, well, why don't you go do something else? You hate this. And so you just feel trapped in these kinds of things, and you think like, oh, I just got to get past the next hill, and then things will be easier. And then I get past the next hill, and things will be easier.
Yep.
And so anyway, it's a really interesting comparison, and between the two paths, and of course, like, that's why the struggle continues. So
correct.
So anyway, okay, that was a long diatribe, so I appreciate you just sitting through that. Let me get it out.
Okay. All right, let's see here. Next scene, we see an electronics store that is owned, I think, by a Greek man.
Yep.
And
George Gleekus.
Okay.
We call him Double G.
Double G.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes into the back of the store. We see Nick and Zig are there. And what was in the shipping container? It was digital cameras. So they do some wheeling and dealing. They do make a deal, though the store owner says he just needs to confirm with his people. Mm-hmm. And Nick and Zig now have 20,000 coming to them.
Yep.
That's what we, and it's interesting. They tried, the guy Double G tries to undercut them, but Ziggy has been doing his homework.
Yes.
He's been looking around, and Nick plays hardball, and so I'm sure they're feeling pretty good about the deal that they struck.
All right. What have you got?
All digital, 4 megapixels, 16 megs of memory, 3-time optical, 4-time digital zoom. That's brand new on the market.
That's a Cadillac of cameras right there.
How many?
400.
You're talking a big number.
That's showtime, baby. This ain't the WNBA.
I'm thinking with these features, this brand, I can get maybe a $350 each at retail.
All right, cool.
Nope, not cool. 500.
Eh?
Yeah, see, I've been calling some of the local chain stores, Best Buy, Circuit City. This model goes for 550, 500 when they're on sale.
Okay. 500 times 400 units, that comes
200,000.
What are you looking for?
20%. There's 3 of us.
I want a woman with thin ankles, but I'm going to go home tonight, and that is going to be my wife. 8%. 16,000. That's over 5,000 apiece for you and your friends.
20,000 up front.
Because I like you.
Oh, look at that. It's a Kodak moment in the house.
Yeah, and of course, that's the interesting part of it as well, and it reminded me of Prez, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like,
yes.
Ziggy, hey Ziggy, you're good at this. Like, go do that.
Yeah.
But he's not cut out for whatever the union work that he's got.
Right.
So it's a little, somewhat tragic, right?
Yes.
I mean, and yeah, you'll talk about the guy at the interaction at the bar later. So I'll close that loop then.
Okay.
But yeah, and then of course, like he's acting really smart, like really helping to negotiate this well, and then he acts like a complete tool again. Like, dude, just keep your mouth shut. And
he just can't do it.
Man,
he doesn't have that kind of impulse control.
That's it.
He does not. So the store owner now, or Double G, is now meeting with Spiros, who gives him the okay to go ahead with the deal. They indicate that they're worried a little bit about Ziggy because they identify him as a drug user.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they say Nick seems to be smart and somebody they can work with.
Yep.
Yeah. Later, Ziggy's at Dolores's bar. She says, "What's wrong with you? Because you're acting normal."
Yeah.
And then a gentleman that we'll talk about later when we get into our dealio with Frank comes in and asks for a shot and a beer. And Dolores comes back with a stack of cash. And I'll talk about that particular story in a moment. But Dolores says, "Your pop's a good man."
Yeah.
And the look on Ziggy's face is so... I don't know what to read into it. What do you think?
Oh,
What do you think that face means?
well, okay. Not to, I hate to hit this so, hard repeatedly, but, Ziggy's comes into the bar and he's feeling like full of himself.
Yeah.
He's negotiated this really good deal and he's feeling really good. And then it turns out that his dad is just handing money to somebody else and not him.
Okay.
So I just feel like it's again, like just completely defeated or deflated.
All right.
He was feeling good and now he's got to deal with, he's back to this reality that his dad is fighting for, all of his union members and doesn't seem to care about his own son's.
Okay.
Yeah. Welfare.
That's what you thought it was? Okay.
Oh, what did you have a difference?
Well, I wasn't sure if it was that or if it was just like his dad is a good guy and he's like maybe like looking at what he's doing is pretty shitty.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I didn't know if it was that or what you were talking about, but it's probably more of what you're talking about. I don't think Ziggy is that. He's still, I think he's more selfish than he is self-reflective. So,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I don't know that I never thought about it that way. Yeah. That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on now to the Valchek vendetta, as I like to call it. Valchek is, let's see, he's talking to another officer about the missing surveillance van.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the keys, they've got no van, and now it's at another port with another bumper sticker that you see guys are taking photos with it. Meanwhile, Prez is talking to Lieutenant Grayson and asks if he has a plan for them. And the lieutenant is very conservative and lazy in his approach. He says they're just going to do hands for now. Prez is not impressed. Prez wants more and has seen that more can be really effective. Let's see here. We're at Valchek's anniversary dinner and Prez is by his side and Valchek wants an update on his detail. And Prez tells him that they are basically doing jack shit and that Burrell basically hamstrung them on the Barksdale case and that he's basically doing the same thing there. And what else here? Valchek then goes through his mail. He sees a photo of the surveillance van in Wilmington. It's kind of ramping up. I think Valchek is getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And then, let me see here. Back at Valchek's detail, some of the guys we see Polk.
Yep.
And a couple other guys.
Yeah, I don't know the other characters' names. Yeah.
They're playing poker, Prez is at a desk, and the lieutenant's nowhere to be seen. All they have on the corkboard is a picture of Frank Sabaka's union card.
Yep.
And Valchek, has come in and he just looks pissed that he can't find the lieutenant.
Yep.
He storms out and meets up with Burrell, or surprises Burrell, I should say, at a council meeting where I think they are maybe voting on Burrell's candidacy as a police commissioner. I couldn't really quite tell. But Valchek comes in and says, you gave me humps.
Yeah.
And basically, if you don't get me some better guys, I'm going to make your life a living hell. And you are definitely not going to be commissioner.
You sent me humps.
Major,
You sent me a detail of humps, Irvin.
we can discuss this tomorrow.
No, I think we discuss it now. Or I'm gonna walk in there and tell Santoni to vote against this goddamn coronation. And more than that, I'm gonna talk some shit to some of my friends about what happened at the end of the Barksdale case. Did you hear me on that?
Well, the Barksdale case was a successful prosecution.
Up until our people tried to chase the cash, man.
We have a quorum, I believe. Council members can take their seats now.
Tell you what, Deputy, you probably still got enough votes, but I can make it uglier than you want it.
What do you want, Stan?
I want a real detail with real police and a real unit commander.
Fine. Done.
Give me that black lieutenant that did Barksdale.
No, Daniel's put in his papers. He's gone. Out the door.
Didn't meet the pension board yet. I suggest you talk to the man.
Look, I'll do what I can.
Don't fuck with me, Irv. I got as many friends here in the hall as you do. And with what I'm learning about the Barksdale case, I got all kind of shit I can throw.
And not only that, but he wants Daniels. And part of the leverage he uses is he says that he knows what happened with the Barksdale case.
Yeah.
And is that really leverage for him? I mean, is it? What is Valchek gonna do with that? He's gonna just be like, oh, Burrell didn't go as far as this case as he should have. That would be something that really discounts him from being police commissioner. I don't know. I didn't buy it very much, to be honest with you. So,
well, I think that for Burrell, he just doesn't want the hassle, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't want the conflict.
Yeah.
And so what Valchek is basically saying, I mean, and Valchek basically admits this, like, you're probably going to get through.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot more difficult, and you'll be on thinner ice, because I don't know I can't remember if they said this explicitly, but this is just for Burrell to be the interim commissioner.
Okay.
So he is not going to be the full, like he's not getting the full commissionership. So if he wants to be re-upped, essentially, then he'll want to sail through, right? That's, and so by making it dirty or making it a more difficult situation for Burrell to get confirmed, then the next time, or if they need a new then people might be less likely to fight for him. So, and knowing in particular that Burrell closed down a case when political corruption was on the table, I think for him, that is probably a pretty bad look. Anyway, that's it. Or that's my perception of it anyway. So
take it.
I just want to jump back a little bit, because you covered a lot of ground. I was curious, so this Lieutenant Grayson guy, like I think this might be his only time that he shows up in the series.
Oh, okay.
He was probably there, he certainly was there when Valchek introduces them to the location, but it just got, either that has to be like the cushiest
yeah, I know, right?
job of like, okay, so I can just sit here and I can watch TV all day. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Man, that is, and again, I'm sure that happens. I mean, you have slackers in every line of work, but man, when it's the police, it just really feels like problematic. And again, you have these guys that are just playing poker, like down the street. It's like, whoa, what the hell? Or just in the office, it's just like, it's crazy. And he doesn't have any kind of strategy. He doesn't seem to care about satisfying Valchek at all. It's just, that is very curious. I mean, and I guess that probably says a lot about Valchek.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I don't, I'm not interested in this case. I just want you guys to go do a job, but I'm not going to check back up on you. And they're like, okay, so we'll wait until he gets pissed at us and then we'll go do something. So that part, I just thought, I mean, it's pretty hilarious that, it had to be Prez, and, ratting out essentially his lieutenant to Valchek. And of course, like from Prez's perspective, it is interesting because again, he knows now what good police work looks like, and he is motivated to do it, right?
Yep, exactly.
And so knowing that they're just sitting around, I mean, he could have been doing word search puzzles, but he doesn't want to. He wants to do something, and he's been given this task, and he feels like, and as petty as Valchek is about this whole thing, his instinct is not wrong in that, how did Sabatka get this kind of money? He's got to be doing something illegal. He's right about that.
Yeah.
It's all instigated by some shitty vendetta. Yeah. But nevertheless, like, he does feel like there's something off, and Prez wants to figure it out. And so that's how this all gets kind of rolling, is that Valchek got Prez on the case, and then Prez like basically said, we're not doing anything, and we're not going to make any progress unless you get some new leadership in here. So,
and it will be very interesting if Daniels ends up coming to the detail.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, can't even imagine. I'm excited for that.
All right, very good then.
I am. Okay, so let's see here. Let's move on to poor sweet Frank Sabatka. The father has hosted some kind of like a political meetup at the church or something like that, which is what Frank asked him to do, I think, in the first episode.
Yep.
The lobbyist guy that we know cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name.
Bruce DiBiago.
Oh, thank you. Primes him on who he needs to talk to and who he needs to win over. And on that list is slimy Clay Davis. Davis is the one who's going to be the hardest to buy out. He says that with Davis, you want to be the last one to leave the room because he's always got his hand out for more. So Frank goes over, he makes nice, Clay Davis is like, hey, partner. It's just so wow. It's so weird suck uppiness.
Yeah.
It's all coded language for, I'd love your money if you can keep that going.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Pretty much.
So
Frank's
Frank's playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course he looks back at Bruce.
Yeah.
And Bruce smiles and he drinks some coffee.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, I know how you feel, buddy.
Just short of giving him 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect. Nice job.
Well done. Yeah.
Anyway, later we're in Frank's office chair. This is what I was talking about. A guy named Ring, I guess is his
Ringo,
name.
yeah.
Ringo.
But
comes
yeah, they
in.
calls him Ring. Yeah.
They call him Ring. Shares with Frank that he's struggling financially. He's worked only 5 days in the past month. I can't even imagine that, right?
Right.
And tells him that he's going to go with a different crew,
Yeah.
the 47. And Frank gives him some money. He tells him, listen, just tonight, go see Dolores, have a beer and a shot on me, and let her know I sent you. And if you feel this way in the morning, so be it. And this is the scene that we saw with Ziggy, where Ringo comes in and does, put the money on the table and tells Dolores, shot in a beer. Frank Spacca says that I should get it. And then Dolores comes back with a big stack of cash for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's clear why he's doing this, but it just doesn't scale to me.
I know.
So does that mean everybody can go there?
I know. What the heck?
And again, why is he not giving money to his son his son's part of the union?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I don't know. I wonder though if his son has gotten a lot of money and just, diddled it away. He's got that fancy car. We know he uses drugs. So
I don't know that he actually does. I'm not sure.
You don't know? Oh, okay.
I mean, we don't know for
Okay.
sure. It's just a suspicion.
Okay.
He's just a goofball.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
he's definitely willing to sell and has sold them.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
messed
yeah.
that
Oh, yeah,
up.
yeah.
So I don't know what all that means, but
Yeah.
there you go.
Nah, but it is anyway. But I guess it probably doesn't matter. Like maybe, when a guy comes to him, that's Frank busts out this, probably a stack of it's probably $1,000 that the guy got him.
Yeah.
And it's, the question is just kind of like, how can you keep that up? I mean,
That's the thing. It's a Band-Aid.
Right,
I don't know. I guess
right.
Frank
Well-
thinks that he's going to get this. He's going to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Shake the right hands,
Yep.
grease the right palms,
Yep.
and things will get better.
yeah.
So if he could just hang on to these guys.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It is a Band-Aid 100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, but the connection to Ziggy obviously is super important, right?
Yeah.
It's not about this one guy. It's about what does this
Right.
tell Ziggy about how he's valued, right?
Yep.
Frank giving money to union
Yes.
members and his son is struggling himself, right? So,
Okay, well, let's see here. Let's go on to our final thread here, Tillman's troubles, as I like to call it.
okay.
All right, let's start with Stringer. Stringer and a couple of guys are in a van. They are in a kind of nicer neighborhood. Stringer's on the phone. He's like trading stocks or something on phones, cell phones, because of market saturation. He's using those business skills
Yep.
he learned
Yeah,
in last
exactly.
season.
Yep.
They do see Tillman go into his house. And then later, Tillman and some other guys are in a pretty seedy looking alley. And they're taking bets on whether a rat's going to make it to safety before this scrappy little dog finds him. Junk?
Yeah.
Is that the name of the dog?
Junk is very good. Wow. Good job. Yeah.
Well, Junk finds a rat and kills him very brutally.
Yeah.
And Choi's just slamming him all over the ground.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Rat make that trashy home free.
Junk better get in closer when shot at him.
I got 20 on Mr. Rat. Anyone fade me? Move along. Come on. Get there. 100 says it ain't over. Shit, I got to take easy money. What the fuck? Motherfucker. Sounds about over now, though. How the hell he know what the rat gonna do? Junk, you know his mom, man.
And while this is going on, the two guys minus Stringer are in a van
Yep.
watching them, or in some kind of vehicle watching them. Okay, so clearly,
Sorry. I'll just introduce now.
yes,
Butchie
Butchie,
is the
blind
guy who's
Butchie,
laughing
yes.
a lot. And I just love his line, "Junk do know his varmints."
Junk do know his varmints.
Which is just hilarious. What a line that is. So good.
It was very good. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that right there is, like a little foreshadowing.
Yep.
For what is to come.
right.
A little metaphor. Anyway, so Tillman is he giving Butchie the money or he's giving it to somebody else inside the bar?
Well, he's giving it to somebody else.
He's giving it to somebody,
Mhm.
yes. And he asked for a quarter, I guess, some crack cocaine. So
I think it's heroin.
Heroin,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Tillman goes to get the heroin from an alley.
Yep.
And Stringer's guys realize that the drugs are coming from Blind Butchie, and
Yep.
they know Blind Butchie.
Right.
So there's a connection.
Yep.
Next day, Stringer comes to talk to Butchie, and they put him up to something. They want to put him up to something, you can tell. And Butchie's reluctant because he says that Tillman's money's always been good. It's been consistent. But Stringer insists that Avon wants to do something. So Butchie relents. Avon gonna be Avon.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
He been good business for me, though.
Yeah?
2-3 quarters a week. Mr. Tillman money always right, always on time.
Well, that's why I'll be coming to you for the setup, man. You the man now.
I'm just saying.
I know the money, and you know we're gonna find a way to make that right. But like I said, I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for my man.
Avon's call.
Wouldn't be here otherwise.
Avon is Avon.
Always.
Yeah, so so this was all clear to you, like
This
your
was
phone.
clear to me.
Mhm.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Cool.
I mean, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but
Yeah.
we see later Tillman's in the parking lot at work, and he is separating the heroin into different paper wrappers, and he hides it inside a sleeve of like mints or cough drops or
Yeah,
something like that.
Hall's cough drop,
Okay,
yeah.
it was cough drops.
Yep.
And then he goes through security without a problem,
Mm-hmm.
and we hear he's going to J tier.
Yep.
Later, oh my gosh, this scene. Stringer is checking up on Donette. Wow. She opens the door. He seems awfully familiar. Like, maybe he's just being sweet. Then she comes out with one of Dee's sweaters and wants to give it to him, Anyhow, Stringer says, Donette, you need to go visit Dee with your guy's baby boy. And you know that they are taking care of her monetarily to make sure that keeps happening. Anyhow, he sets the sweater aside, says he's an XL. And then she says, no doubt. And then it's on. And that's when I was like, oh my Lord, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then they're kissing. And then we see Idris Elba take his shirt off. And then I was like pausing it and then rewinding it. Just kidding. And I'm going to chime in with the music here.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know this one.
Do you?
Sweet Thing, originally by Shaka Khan and covered by Mary J. Blige.
Wow, very good.
Yes, I love
Very
this
good.
song. Yes.
Okay, so
And we know why this song is. You're not mine. I can't deny it.
Oh, interesting.
The lyrics are all about being with somebody who you can't have.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I didn't. I mean, I just thought Sweet Thing. Like, how much further do you need to go? But let me ask you that. Well, okay. Because when she puts that music on, just like at that point,
at that point you kind of like, huh?
he's got to know it's on now, right? Now, so on the one hand, I feel like, okay, this is, Stringer can go fuck himself. That is some fucked up shit.
It's pretty bad,
right?
dude.
I mean, Avon asked him to help D'Angelo,
Yes.
and he helps D'Angelo by fucking his girl as a baby mama.
Yes.
So
I'm like, get it, Donette, because he cheated on you.
Well, okay, so that's
and
true.
We are talking about Idris Elba here.
That's true.
And yeah.
I mean, so right. So and D'Angelo's gonna be in jail for 10 years. It is it is unreasonable to expect somebody to be on the shelf for that long. On that now.
But it should not be Stringer. No. I know.
There's that too, yes.
It should not be.
Right. And so there's that also. But I think that, just for my own purposes, like if you end up going in and you have a baby mama on the outside,
yep,
she's still got to be like, look, I'm not waiting.
Yeah.
Like I'll if things are, if I haven't settled down by the time you get out, I'll keep a light on for you on the porch. But Like, I'm not waiting around. Like, D'Angelo had to know. If he
I'm
didn't
sure.
know
Yes.
that, so there was that. But yeah, but Stringer, like, that is so fucked up. That is so, like, just,
God,
I mean,
so messed
you know, like, are you going to tell Avon that, no, you're not going to do that. And if you're not going to tell Avon that you're fucking Donette, then you know that
then
this
you
is a
know
bad
you're
shit.
doing
So,
something wrong.
You know, I mean, but again, like, he sits down on the couch and he's like just super familiar. It's like, all right.
And what does he say? Does he know what he's missing
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that?
Yeah. So, what? The guy's a dog. I mean, you know,
He's a
just
dog.
Men in general. Like,
Yep.
cops are dogs. Men are dogs. It's just. But I love that you got the music reference.
yes.
I mean, but as soon as she puts that is a make out song.
That's
I mean, there's no question. God. And but then I wrote down, short of Top Gun, the original, this is the grossest kissing scene in television history. Like, Idris, what are you doing with your tongue, dude?
He's
like,
eating her face.
It's just like gross. I don't like, and like that poor actress. Like, she's gonna be like, dude, what are you doing with your tongue? Stop it. Just kiss me like a normal person for a little bit while we get this scene over with.
Oh,
so
yeah.
anyway,
It was a wet one.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Anyway.
so
I mean,
funny.
you know, do what you like in
Right,
private.
hey.
Don't do it on TV.
Hey,
That's all I'm saying. So.
that's
And then, you know, but of course, if it gives Ellie the opportunity to see Idris Elba with his shirt off,
Yeah,
you
then
know, I'm all for it.
all
So good. Enjoy that.
Thanks.
All right, sorry for the diatribe.
Okay. No, we're not sorry for that.
Okay.
All right. So Tillman is again delivering some money and picking up drugs. Chunk is on the floor wanting one of his rib bones. And Tillman's like, no.
Yeah.
And as he leaves, you see that one of Avon's guys is there. We're going to leave Tillman for a moment here. We go to D. D is working in the library, and there's another young black man there who asks about his preference for Ultimate or regular Spider-Man. D says he doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, he says, oh, I'll teach you.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. Avon comes up then, and he's checking in on D. And it's like he wants Dee to acknowledge that he's making his time in prison a little easier, but Dee's like, he's still just extremely pissed off about having to take 20 years.
Yep.
And this is where, Dee says, maybe I could get 10 years because he has priors. Avon's only going to maybe do 1 or 2 years of the 7 years that he's been convicted for. Anyway, Avon does say, you look a little dusty, which we know what that means. Dee says he's only using it occasionally. And Avon says, if you're only using it occasionally, then you should be able to quit for a few days. So Dee agrees. And, Avon makes sure to say it's only out of love, before he goes, he puts his hand on Dee's head. And this is where I notice, like, Wood Harris has the longest fingers in the freaking world. It's like a gigantic tarantula is on his head. I was just like looking at his hands like, dude, he's got huge hands.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah. I feel for Dee so much. And I'm glad that he's like staying mad.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean,
he knows he knows he did this and he's screwed, and he's like, I'm not gonna make it pleasant for you. And I have respect for that.
Yeah, he's not going to let Avon off the hook.
Yeah.
And I think that, I guess like for him, for D'Angelo, probably, I get the feeling that he never really thought that he would get caught doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, if you think about it, like he was kind of, in that second episode, he's like, you think the police care about people getting high? They don't.
Yeah.
They care, and he was never involved in the violence.
Right.
So I think probably Avon had in his mind that jail was a likelihood.
Yeah.
Whereas I think for D'Angelo, and he probably didn't, and also, D'Angelo had this sort of vision at the end of last season of getting out, and he could see this freedom.
Yes.
And instead he did it for the family. He took the weight for the family.
Yeah.
And so for him, it's just a much, much different transition for him. I mean, that's what Avon said last time, was like, he's making adjustments, and it's just taking him a long time to get his head right.
Right.
Whereas for Avon, it just felt like, and of course for Avon, he's, living the life, really. I mean, not, obviously it's not great that he's in jail. He would rather not be.
Yeah, but he's pretty
it's
comfortable.
pretty comfortable. Yeah. So, yeah. Yep.
Okay, well, Tillman drops the drugs off to somebody in prison. That guy then passes them out to select people who are waiting by their doors. Like there's clearly a way this is done.
Yep.
He does look into Dee's room, and Dee does not come up to the door to take one. And then he drops a couple on the bed of the guy, Mr. Fan of the comic books guy, the sweet looking guy. And then, here's our final scene. We're back in the prison. You hear a bunch of people yelling suddenly. Alarms are going off. Lights go on. Dee wakes up, startled. He looks through the little window that's in his cell door, and we hear, they've fallen out. 4 that I've seen. And then you see these stretchers rolling out with guys who are dead. They have white foam coming out of their mouths. And now Dee knows why Avon wanted him to wait.
Yep.
And Avon looks, like we said, comfortable in his cell reading the novel he grabbed from the library.
Yep.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this is like to somehow implicate, I don't know what the path is going to be, but somehow this then implicates Tillman and he gets in trouble, I guess. I don't know. This is my prediction. Okay, if we're going to start with predictions.
Right into the predictions. Okay. But certainly, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I got to write that down.
Okay.
But of course, like the really, to me, obvious, but it's important to call out is that D'Angelo has no involvement in this, and yet he is just like frantic about trying to understand what's happening. So and I think that really only goes to kind of push the gap between Avon and D'Angelo even further, because now you have Avon who doesn't care at all what he's done.
Exactly.
And you have D'Angelo who is not involved at all, cares about like these fellow prisoners that are dying.
Yep, exactly.
So,
this is, I mean, it's just, it takes us all the way back to the scene with Dee in the interrogation room and feeling for Gant and his, his, he was a church deacon and his babies, his 3 babies, whatever. Like Dee is the one who feels more, and Avon's like, you don't got to worry about that, Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that closes the story. Yeah. I don't think you covered, everything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that so the song, actually I have to look this up. The song that is playing, it's called "The Cisco Kid" by War, and I just that's the song that's playing in Avon's room when they show him. So and I'm just looking up what is a Cisco Kid? An official character found in numerous film, radio, television, and comic book series based on Western character by O. Henry. But I'm trying to figure out. Originally a murderous criminal in O. Henry's story, the kid was depicted as a heroic Mexican caballero in later film, radio, and television adaptations. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. So I'm guessing that it's the murderous part that is it's why, and he's like trying to, I guess he's sort of trying to expose this this correctional officer on behalf of Weebay, but of course he kills multiple people in doing so. So that's kind of, anyway, so they're just driving home that, Avon's a cowboy and, doing this kind of illegal stuff. So anyway, I mean, I did think that the part about that, the whole trail of getting the drugs into prison was really fascinating to me. I mean, I'm sure that's true, that drugs are available in prison. It's just it's kind of amazing that that's how it gets in.
Yeah.
I think that the question about why a CO would do this. I mean, obviously Tillman strikes me as being a particularly like hateful person or whatever, like very much out for himself. So if he sees opportunity, and he doesn't care, right? He says like, what are they going to do? Right. There's nothing to do but get high. So he's just going to take opportunity. So that part is kind of interesting. Whereas I think comparatively, Nick and Ziggy commit crime effectively because they're in sort of dire straits. Whereas Tillman is like, I want a nicer car. So it's one of those comparisons where people go into crime because they want nicer things as opposed to just they want to be able to survive, essentially.
Yeah.
So just that part was just kind of interesting. So and it probably felt very safe for Tillman was if he had just like talked talked to Avon and been civil about it.
Yeah, exactly. Just
would not
left
be involved
Weebay
in it, so-
alone.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think. Oh, and then so do you know the difference between Amazing Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man?
I don't.
Okay, well, I looked this up. It's not quite clear to me exactly, but apparently Ultimate Spider-Man started in early 2000, and they basically just are retelling the story as if Spider-Man, as opposed was that was when he originated, as opposed to he originated in 1967 or whatever. There was the Amazing Spider-Man, and he has continued to progress along. This is like his starting point is 2000 or something like that. So apparently they're doing it again, which I don't quite understand, but in any case, yeah. So I would have liked to know what that guy's
what his
arguments
take was,
are for which one's better. But anyway, just different storylines. And then I think that's we talked a little bit about Donette and Stringer, or more than a little bit, I guess. So yeah, okay. And I think that the it was an interesting play by Avon in that he was putting some trust in D'Angelo's word, right? I mean, it's if you're a drug addict, and you're like, I'm going to take a day off. But anyway, that's the way Avon goes. So
really,
the fact that he didn't even, well, I guess he's in a different tier.
Yes.
So he can't say one way or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Well, I think that covers it. Anything else from the story that you got?
No.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, let's move on to some of our categories. We talked about the music, and I think that was there was one song that I didn't quite understand. So when Ringo goes in to see Frank, in the Union Hall or the office, did you catch the song that was playing?
No, well, I remember it does. I can't remember now, but I remember there was something that struck me about it.
It's my party and I'll cry if I want.
Yes, that's what it was.
Like,
yes.
Why is that song playing?
I know.
I didn't understand it. So I don't know if it was. I don't know. I probably should have looked at the lyrics, but anyway, I don't know the song really.
Yeah.
But you'd think that it can't be much more complex than the chorus. I would think. So it's my party and I'll cry if I want to. But anyway, or if you would cry too if it happened to you, I guess. Is that the maybe so Ringo Frank doesn't, or Frank is kind of like, are they relating? I don't know. Anyway, let's not overanalyze. Get it together. So the Mr. Nuggets life lesson. I thought about this quite a bit. The answer that I think came to mind is, if you just nibble around the edges, you never get a meal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a good line.
Yeah, that is a good line.
So for Prez, so that would be my lesson to anybody. It's like, hey, if you're going to go in, go for the meat.
Yes.
You might not you don't necessarily go super deep, but definitely make sure you're not just nibbling
get some
around.
meat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm trying not to I'm just like, don't ever bet on a rat terrier, or bet against it, I should say.
Yeah.
So
those terriers, that's what they're bred to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't really have much else. So and no lessons from you this time, I guess.
No, I like your lesson. I'm going to use that one.
Cool. All right. All right. Well, as we mentioned, the killer cameos. The first mate couldn't qualify. Number one, because we don't have a name for him. And number two, he was in last episode, so that he immediately gets disqualified. I was thinking about giving an award collectively to the crew.
Okay.
Who was
yes. I do love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And did you know what Kunta Kinte? You know what that reference is?
Yes.
Okay. So for those who don't know,
it's like from the Zulu Nation. It's from the movie. It's the character. What is the name of the movie? He's the
Roots.
character. Yes, Roots.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So played by LeVar Burton.
Yes.
And that the Roots was like a mini series.
Yes.
From like the 70s about slaves being transported.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a, it's a. Not for the, I think, for the faint of heart.
No,
So,
it is a very, necessary but difficult to watch.
Yeah, exactly. But in that, the crew was just like, I don't understand what's happening, but I was really engrossed in that whole experience.
Yes,
that was pretty
yes, they are all. They were just all so expressive.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get down to the no English, and that was it. So, which I thought was hilarious. And then there's one moment in that as well when Freeman says, "You cannot have come all the way across the ocean and not speak any motherfucking English." And Wendell Pierce, who plays Bone, he kind of looks down and laughs, which it felt like a very genuine, genuine moment. Yeah. So, and then of course, Freeman says English motherfucker, which to me, I can't hear that and not hear Samuel Jackson from Pulp Fiction.
Oh my gosh.
Saying English motherfucker, do you speak it? So I just thought I don't, if it was an homage, it's perfectly fine by me. So, and then so finally, so the person but other than that, I really kind of struggle with it. So I actually wanted to give it to Ringo, played by John Garcia. He really played a downtrodden guy really well. I thought anyway. I just felt like he walks in, and he's got his hat in his hand, and he's, I don't know. I really felt for the guy.
I did too. I thought he was a very convincing character.
But I don't know. I don't know why. Like I could not find a lot of other cameos that really. There was the Ultimate Spider-Man guy. I thought was fine.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
I like him.
And but other than that, I didn't really. There just weren't a lot of cameos. I felt like that really made an impact this time to me anyway. So I don't know.
Okay, I still think the crew. That one still has my vote.
All right.
The collective cameo
that would be
of
it.
the
Okay,
crew.
excellent. All right, very good then.
Yes.
Okay, and you caught that Stringer playing Wall Street was a reference to his economics classes, so good job there. And I don't think there was too much else in terms of callbacks that we need to keep an eye on. So, all right, so that gets us to the last two questions. So, any thoughts? We keep this is now our third episode, and I'm asking like how well did it hold up? I wonder how relevant it is for this particular season.
If that question is a relevant question, I think maybe it's not as maybe I just need to educate myself more on the state of unions and trade jobs like what these guys do, longshoremen and dock workers and things like that, because their plight is really it's particularly interesting to me, and I am very curious how much that is still the case, or if things have improved for them, or
Well, actually, as I say that, and now, like as we talked about when we were talking about sex work, know, there is a lot more like push towards getting more regular kind of, not benefits, but just make it a little bit more normalized, so you have, you can get things like insurance or whatever else.
Yes, exactly.
So there's that,
and healthcare.
But of course, the notions of unions has really expanded now. Right. I mean, coffee shop people and journalists. So that
that's
part's
so
really,
true. Yes. Even if it's not, even if it's not reflective of what is happening now in the world, I do see how it is, like you said, prescient, like seeing where things may be going in our time now. Yeah.
So, okay, well, cool. So, as now I'm like, I brought this up as if like, and I should have thought about this ahead of time. But anyway, here we are. The thing about it that is kind of interesting is that, season 2, when it first aired, I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention again, is, it wasn't as well received. Ironically, it had the highest viewership of any season, but it wasn't as well received because a lot of the storylines were not continued from season 1.
Right.
So people were like, where's Bubbles, right?
Yeah.
We still haven't seen him.
Still haven't seen Bubbles.
And so and so people were like, I was watching the show and now it's all switched around on me. But on the other hand, I would also say that part of the problem, I think, is that the notion of unions back in 2002, 2003, it just wasn't really like a common, people were looking at it as like police and teachers and, in industries like this, and less about like the notion of coffee shop union workers.
I know.
Crazy.
No,
sorry, not crazy, but like just really.
I never. I was a
norm.
teacher and I belonged to a union, and I never would have imagined like a barista's union or something like that. Never.
Yeah.
Would have pictured that.
Right, and so I feel like that to me is now is like this becomes a more common, not tactic. The tactic feels a little. But avenue, I guess, like for people to utilize. I feel like this season might actually be even more relevant than it was, like even when So we'll talk more about kind of the broader message as we get further along in the season. So
and too, just like politicians or I'm not having to pay your dues to politicians. Like we were just having dinner and kind of talking about that a little bit tonight or last night about like what major corporations around us have made their big contributions and that's part of just playing the game that you have to do that. And if you don't do that, it could be so deleterious for you and all of the workers in your corporation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh,
that is right on
so
the money.
I guess that still is going on.
Yeah.
So relevant.
Okay, very good. All right, good job. All right, so and then let's finally get to our predictions. So you already mentioned Tillman's involvement will be exposed. Is that
yes,
okay?
Yes. We're gonna find out how Tillman's connected to the hot shots.
All right. Yep.
Let me see here. I mean, it sounds like Daniel's is coming back to.
Okay.
He's going to be on the detail.
Okay.
With Prez.
Okay.
I think Nick and Zig are going to pull off an even bigger one this time, and that maybe things go a little haywire.
Okay.
Omar, now people are going to know Omar is back. What does that mean? Maybe Bunk gets a beat on him and tries to find Omar. And also, I think Avon's going to find out that Omar is back. And maybe some of that, I don't know if there's going to be a Stringer Omar talk or something between the two of them. That's all I got right now.
Let's just double check. So
okay.
So I'm just going back to the different threads.
Okay.
So you got Nick and Zig. You got Bunk. Well, okay. So there's anything that you see related to the Jane Does?
Yeah, I think Jimmy's gonna get closer to identifying the floater.
Okay.
I don't think he'll have it, but I think he'll make some headway.
Okay. But won't get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so now 5. So you're upping your game because you had 4 last week.
Yeah. And I think the surveillance van makes it to another port.
Okay. Yes.
Another bumper sticker for the surveillance van.
I love that. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that brings us to the end. Oh, hang on. Another bumper sticker for the surveillance van. Okay. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end. So thank you as always, Ellie.
You are welcome, Chris. Chris, if we ever get merch, we should sell those bumper stickers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
What would just like
just pretend they're like the labor union bumper stickers.
Yeah,
you get it if you get it.
I love that. So well, Ellie is incredibly creative, so I know she'll come up. With something. So, all right. Well, I love that. Like, if you know how to do merch, then I recommend it. I'm fully on board, but I neither know how to do merch nor know how to make it. So anyway, okay, well, cool. Well, Ellie, as always, thank you so much for an excellent episode.
You are welcome.
We will be back next week with season 2, episode 4, Hard Cases.
Ooh.
So I said that with the proper gravitas. So, okay, well, thanks so much, Ellie.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, we will see you all next week.
All right, bye, everybody.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time...
Got yourself a hell of a case.
Fuck you very much.